So today I replaced the water on these little hydroponic herbs that grow by my window. Okay, these are those 3D inserts or net pods that I print. They fit in your mason jars and whatnot. Different sizes. They fit in this one's. This is the same exact one, and it fits as long as the mouth of your jar is the same. See, these are bigger and they fit. Um, this is hydroponic food that I've mixed. And then I just changed this. I want to show you guys on these smaller plants. So you can definitely utilize these lids if you have a bigger plant, if you don't want it to move, like just more weight. But these smaller ones, this is Greek oregano. You can just lift it out like so. You can just kind of look inside there. Now, normally general hydroponics in general, you want to move the water, but it works like this as well. You usually circulate the water, you inject some oxygen, some air, and that helps the system grow a lot faster. Everything moves faster. But these are herbs by the window. I don't want them to grow too fast. And you can rotate these to force the plant to move it the other way, kind of, or not, whatever you want to do. Today is a nice sunny day. We're almost November, so we're lucky to have a nice day today. And then these, so I guess I will unscrew this and show you guys how big the roots got on this guy. Pretty impressive, right? That's how they come out. And honestly, if these roots get too big, you can cut some of it off, like towards the bottom. They'll just regrow. I mean, if this jar were to get too full and whatnot, you can do that actually. But since this plant is bigger, you can use a little help here. Okay, this one, this is the Greek oregano again. I'm just kind of starting it off. When you're first starting off, you want to make sure that the tip of this is submerged in water, but it's not just kind of like this, so that the paper towel that I have in there soaks up the water. But you don't want to be submerged like below water, because then the seeds would suffocate as they germinate. You guys can kind of see, I'm not sure, they already start to germinate. Once they germinate and then the roots will find them, go down. Once they start developing, growing, then you don't have to worry so much about the level being perfect. Over time, as the plant eats, sucks up the nutrients, so the level will go down. That's fine. This is a self-watering planter that I've printed on Thingiverse, from Thingiverse, all the 3D models that I have. Tinkercad is another app, as another thing. Tinkercad, you can Google that, and you can learn. If you want to learn CAD in general, I'm not even a pro. There's a good beginner videos on YouTube, like just watch a few of them. They'll show you how to handle 3D objects, how it works, the basics of it, how to create objects, how to create shapes, how to add things, merge things, delete things, everything like that. So you could potentially download the Thingiverse and make some modifications, scale, whatever you want to do, right? Or you can create things from scratch and learn. So this is a two-piece. This goes inside like that. Then you can put these pebbles in there, and this could be a hydroponic net pad. The only thing I found with these is they do leak water very slowly. I tried printing them different ways, so at least on my printer it does. The water will slowly seep through this plastic, so they recommend that you get a food grade glue, and then on the inside coat the inside, and then they stop leaking. I scaled this to 200%, and there's the other one that I've printed. I'm gonna have to go get the glue. So, and then in here, the nice part with this thing is that you could, if you wanted to, since there's a hole in here, you could put a little air stone in here, like a smaller air stone, hook it up to like an air pump, and then you can inject air from the bottom. It would help. I think it's overkill, right? Because One of the things is that plants will grow much better, that they will like that much better, and they'll grow faster, but they will use up your water much faster. And then you have to be on the lookout for them because they could dry up your thing if the plant's too big for the size of your pot. That's why I printed this bigger one, because then I can kind of keep an eye, the water will last there longer. But for the most part, I just did it just to kind of play around with different prints, and it came out pretty awesome. And this, by the way, took 9 hours to print. This is not. So that's the thing, like 3D printed things. Some of these things you're kind of doing it for your own enjoyment because it just doesn't make sense. The amount of time it takes your printer to print, and then the cost of the plastic. It's just the cost would be too great to sell these things. Like once you pass a certain amount of printing time, like 3-4 hours, it's just not economical to print these unless you're creating custom parts for someone and doing all the work. Just the scale of economy of these things are not. You're not going to get rich. You're not going to make any money, but you can print smaller parts like these things. Definitely, you can. I sold a few of these to people who don't know anything 3D printing and just want to print herbs by their window like I did, and so it varies. In general, you're not going to become rich in 3D printing at all. It's just a hobby, and you learn a lot in 3D objects, X, Y, Z, Z, and all this kind of stuff. It's pretty, especially if you have kids. It's getting involved in thinking in 3D and thinking about objects and planning. All that kind of stuff is really good. So I would encourage, if anyone, if really, like, if you're bored, that it's a great hobby. You can spend a whole bunch of time, maybe too much time. So you just have to be aware of that. Um, yeah, I guess that's all. I don't want to ramble too much. Oh, by the way, these smell awesome. Like when you rub these, the oils, this basil smells amazing. So when I'm cooking something, I use this, you know, this is not just for looks. These are functional herbs. I'm going to utilize them in cooking, but I want to have more so that as I use them up, there's another one. Okay, I guess that's all. I don't want to ramble too long. Oh, and before I go, in another video, I showed you guys how a good method of germinating tiny little seeds, like tiny little seeds, almost microscopic, that most people have trouble with. So all you do is you get a Ziploc bag, right? What kind of seeds you put in there so you don't forget. Put some soil, mix it with some water so it's moist, but not, like wet, soaking, dripping wet, anything like that. Randomly mix in your seeds. Keep it by a window or some source that's some, warm source. Like this is double pane window, so that when the sun comes out and heats up this bag, you guys can see inside there's some condensation, and then it warms it up, and then the seeds, there's tons of them. So each of these will potentially could become a giant mullein plant. And if you don't know what that plant is, Google it. It's a lot of great medicinal values, and just an amazing plant. I actually picked these seeds on the side of the road. There's a lot of cars, so the plant wasn't viable to pick anything off it because there's pollution and whatnot. But the seeds are good because that's just genetic material. You can put it in, and then a clean plant will come out of that. So that's just a good tip. If you want to save some money, and you've probably seen a mullein plant because they have a distinctive look, how they look in the structure on the side of the road. So towards the end of the year, like at the end of the fall, just walk up to a plant. You can even do it now in November. Just cut a piece of the top of the plant, and the seeds are inside the pods. There's a few hundred seeds in each pod, and there's plenty. And then after that, the plant grows fairly easily. So that's all I want to show you guys. Just a little update on these herbs. I have other ones. I have a New Zealand spinach. I'm growing it up. It's not on here, and once I'm just trying out different herbs to see which ones do best in these things. All right, that's it.